The first time I found one of my teeth in the sink, I assumed I'd forgotten. People lose teeth. Children do it naturally. Adults do it accidentally. Stress, grinding during sleep, an unnoticed injury. There are explanations. There are always explanations. The strange part wasn't that the tooth had come out, it was how clean it looked. No blood, no broken root, no exposed pulp, just a perfectly intact molar lying beside the drain, dry as polished ivory. I stood there for nearly 10 minutes, tongue probing every corner of my mouth. Every tooth felt present, smooth, solid. I counted them twice, 32, all accounted for. Then whose tooth was in my sink? I threw it away. By the next morning, it was back. Not the same one, another, slightly larger, still perfectly clean, still with nowhere missing from my mouth. I scheduled a dentist appointment. X-rays showed a complete, healthy set of teeth. The dentist smiled, told me stress could cause unusual dreams. I almost laughed, until she asked why I had 33 roots visible on the scan. She called it an imaging error. I didn't argue. I was beginning to hope she was right. The second week, my gums stopped feeling like flesh. It's difficult to explain. Imagine touching your own skin after it has fallen asleep. Not numb, present, but disconnected. My tongue explored them constantly. The surface felt smoother than before, harder, almost polished, cold. Not cold because of the room, cold the way ceramic remains cool even in warm sunlight. Eating became unpleasant. Every bite produced tiny clicks echoing through my skull. Not chewing, settling, as though something beneath my gum shifted each time my jaw closed. I became obsessed with mirrors, opening my mouth beneath different lights, flashlights, sunlight, bathroom fluorescents. Nothing looked wrong. Everything looked too symmetrical. The spaces between my teeth had narrowed, the edges aligned with impossible precision. Nature doesn't make perfect rows, it makes compromises. My mouth had stopped compromising. One night, I bit into an apple. Instead of pain, I heard it. A brittle crack. Sharp, dry, like stepping on old seashells. I spat instinctively. Another tooth landed in my hand. Cool, beautiful, weightless. My tongue swept across my mouth. Every tooth remained exactly where it belonged. I counted them again. 32. The one in my palm made 33. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, there were 34. This became routine. Every morning, another tooth. Sometimes two. Never blood, never pain. Only quiet evidence that my body had produced something impossible while I sleep. I started documenting them. Weight, dimensions, shape, tiny differences accumulated. The earliest teeth resembled my own. The newer ones didn't. Their enamel possessed faint gray translucence. The roots became shorter, the crowns longer, the biting surfaces smoother, designed less for chewing, more for crushing. I mailed one anonymously to a pathology laboratory. Their report arrived 6 weeks later. Human origin inconclusive. I requested clarification. They refused further communication. My gums continued changing. One afternoon, while flossing, the thread slipped beneath the gum line far deeper than anatomy should allow. There was no pain, only resistance, soft at first, then something fibrous, like pulling dental floss through damp silk. I tugged, slowly. A long white strand emerged, not tissue, not nerve, glistened under the bathroom light, perfectly smooth, perfectly cylindrical. It retreated before I could examine it, not recoiling, withdrawing, deliberately. That was the moment denial ended. Bodies don't hide things from themselves. Mine had started to. I stopped seeing doctors. Every test returned normal. Blood work, MRI, biopsies. Healthy. Perfectly healthy. Yes, I could hear my teeth moving, mostly at night. Tiny, deliberate sounds. Click, pause. Click, like ceramic pieces gently rearranging themselves. Not grinding, communicating. I began walking with sore jaws, not from clenching, for holding my mouth open. One morning I discovered why. My phone had recorded 8 hours of audio by accident. Most of it was silence. Then, shortly after 3 in the morning, a sound emerged. Not snoring, not breathing. Hundreds of tiny porcelain taps. Complex, rhythmic. My teeth had spent hours knocking softly against one another. Patterns, intervals, conversations. I deleted the recording, not because it frightened me, because after listening once, I could anticipate the next tap before it occurred, even though I had never heard it before. The rhythm lingered inside my head. When I closed my eyes, my jaw twitched in reply. I began biting my tongue to stop it. The wounds healed within minutes. The blood tasted wrong, not metallic, mineral, like wet stones after rain. Food lost its flavor. Everything became texture instead. Bread dissolved into damp fibers. Meat separated into ropes. Fruit burst into cold sacks of water. Taste vanished. Pressure remained. My mouth no longer wanted nourishment. It wanted structure. By the second month, the sink filled faster than I could empty it. Teeth every morning, sometimes scattered across the pillow, sometimes resting neatly beside the faucet. Always clean, always complete. I stopped throwing them away. Instead, I washed them, lined them on towels, counted them 83, 112, 157. They never decayed, never yellowed, never cracked. One evening I picked one up. It felt warm, not because of my hand, because it already possessed warmth. Then another, and another. Every tooth lay on the towel, gently vibrating, too faint to see, strong enough to feel. The sensation traveled through my fingertips into my jaw. Instantly. Every tooth still inside my mouth answered, not metaphorically, physically. A faint chorus of tiny knocks echoed through my skull. I dropped a tooth. The vibration stopped. That night, I dreamed of coral reefs, not underwater, inside mouths. Millions of pale structures growing together until individuality disappeared. I awoke with my tongue pressed against the roof of my mouth. Something there had not existed before. Another row, small, smooth, waiting. I've stopped counting now. There is no point. The old teeth continue. The old teeth continue appearing in the sink. The new ones never leave. There are too many. Not visibly. Not unless I open my mouth wider than should be possible. The second row became third. The third disappeared backward into darkness. My throat no longer feels like a passage. It feels occupied. Sometimes, when I yawn, I hear distant clicking echo upward from somewhere beneath my tongue. Farther down a throat should reach. I placed a finger inside yesterday. The space continued. No gag reflex. No resistance. Only smooth warmth. Layer after layer of something hard. Waiting. I no longer believe the teeth are falling out. I think they're being shed. Like baby teeth. Like antlers. Like skin. Something inside me is replacing every surface that once belonged to a human body. Not violence. Patiently. The transition has been astonishingly gentle. No agony, no fever, only quiet substitutions. Taste replaced by texture. Flesh replaced by enamel. Speech replaced by rhythm. I've noticed something else. I don't breathe through my mouth anymore. I don't need to. Yet every morning, the mirror fogs when I open it. Not from air leaving my lungs, from deeper inside. Warm vapor drifting upward through endless rows of pale structures, as though something below my throat exhales on my behalf. I used to think the body belonged to the mind. Now I understand the mind is simply the last organ and form of ownership changing hands. If you're listening, you may think infection caused this, or cancer, or madness. I thought so too. Those explanations are comforting. They suggest a body can fail. Mine hasn't failed. It has succeeded. Perfectly. Whatever blueprint built human teeth was never meant to stop at 32. That number was merely enough for the version of us that you, something older, or perhaps something newer, requires many more. Sometimes I catch myself smiling in mirrors I don't remember approaching. The expression isn't mine, not because another person wears my face, because my mouth now understands shapes my emotions never learned. The rows shift quietly beneath my lips, aligning, settling, waiting. I found my teeth in the sink again this morning. 27 this time. Perfect. White. Beautiful. I rinsed them carefully, set them beside the others. Then I look into the mirror. For the first time. I didn't check what was missing. I wondered how much more room there was inside me. When I smiled, I realized my mouth in the reflection wasn't opening. It was unfolding.